All righty, I'm joined by my friend here back in New York, Daniel, who has just secured multiple offers in the program. How you doing over there in New York, man?
I'm doing great, doing great.
Got it, got it. Okay, so talk to me how the overall process went this time around, and your overall experience job hunting in this crazy time that we're living in.
Yeah, so it was honestly a very challenging time. I was unfortunately laid off from my last role back in March, and it took me 5 months to secure my first offer. But I will say this, being able to use Product Gym throughout the entire process was amazing, very helpful. I really enjoyed having conversations with Rich, getting his feedback on things. He was able to help me with strategizing pretty much everything from point A to point B. And I don't think, honestly, that I would have been able to be as successful with my job search if I didn't have resources from Rich. It's not just his feedback. There are also a lot of courses that you could take on Product Gym and just generally the community that you get from having other people around you in the same situation is really helpful. It makes you feel not alone. So from my perspective, it was a very challenging time, but I felt like I was able to get so much by being in Product Gym, coordinating with other people, having that community, also, Rich it does a really great job in keeping people motivated, which for me was a huge help because it could be very demotivating to be on your own, not having a job, and having to be pretty much spend your entire 9 to 5 looking for a job, messaging people. And there's an entire strategy that goes into all that that honestly I didn't know because the job market changed so much over the past couple of years. So having someone who's always on top of things really helped out.
It's crazy how much things just keep changing every single month. Like from, January, we're right now in September, getting ready to go into like October, how much the world has changed just in this is the beginning of the year.
100%. Yeah, yeah. No, product management as a profession has changed so much over the past couple of years. It's unfortunate because it used to be you'd have a job and you'd be able to stay at that company for however long you wanted. But now it's definitely more of an employer's market, not an employee's market. And what comes out of that is, unfortunately, a lack of job security, which means that there are a lot of product managers that are in my same situation where they're laid off. And a lot of them come from big tech with really impressive backgrounds, and they're ultimately your competition for a lot of these jobs. And you need to figure out a way to make yourself stand out. And one of the things I really liked about Product Jam in particular was it was a very measured approach, and it really helped me figure out different ways to make myself stand out, not having that Fing background, because not everyone has experiences working at Meta or working at Alphabet or Google. So yeah, definitely a challenging experience, but overall it was very helpful to have that backing.
Do you think right now, I think one of the biggest changes, because this business was started in New York, one of the biggest changes pre-COVID versus post-COVID is that pre-COVID, and I think pre-recession, is that like a lot of people, they during that time, this was something that they wanted to take on as something extra, and now it's more of a necessity. And back then, it was kind of a luxury, like, we just wrapped up something at my job. I know I have like, the next 3 months is going to be a little bit like more chill, and I've always thought about making this transition. Now more
Yeah.
people are making it like out of just pure need. How did you really just manage your mental health? Because I don't think mental health has been worse for the job hunter. Um,
By managing the transition, you mean managing the job process?
we're managing your mental health like in the job process, man, because it's you're trying to stay
Yeah.
positive and then you'll see like another round of layoffs. And meanwhile, you'll also
I
see,
think I think number
turmoil.
number one is treating it as just a job.
Mhm.
It's ultimately only a part of your life. Your job should never be your entire self-worth. You have family, you have friends, having really close connections with them. and leaning in on them is really important. I actually had another friend in real life who was laid off around the same time that I was, and we would often just have work from home sessions where we would kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and use each other for support, which I found extremely helpful, to make you not feel like you're alone, in a really difficult time. Another thing is having generally a support network of people that are in the same industry looking for a similar job. You can bounce ideas more specifically off of those people. One of the things I really liked was, as an example, we set up LinkedIn chats. We set up Discord channels with people from Product Gym and also other people that I found in other groups on the internet. And I was able to practice. I was able to get better, more mentally prepared for these interviews. And that really helped me with the entire process. One of the things, and this was something that's a little bit more specific to me, but I went through trying to interview and get a job at Meta. That was like my big interview process that I had. So I treated that basically as my job. And I joined Lewis Lynn's Slack channel and just had a ton of mock interviews, basically just trying to make myself better at a lot of these more hypothetical interviews, which I think was really helpful for me to help become just generally a better interview and better product manager. But outside of that, having Product Gym 2 as a way for me to connect with other product managers was really helpful. When I did actually look for a job, I made sure that I was very intentional about it. So setting a daily schedule where I had, a certain number of LinkedIn messages that I need to send out, a certain number of job applications that I need to send out with built-in breaks so that I could take some time off and kind of disconnect from it all. But ultimately, I think it's important to take things in a measured approach. Don't try to overwhelm yourself. It's only a part of your life. Your entire self-worth shouldn't be based off of your job. And I really struggled with that in the beginning because as a product manager, a lot of your time is spent, especially during the week, thinking about your work. And when you're not thinking about that, then you're thinking about other things. And a lot of those other things, especially being unemployed, could turn to be a little bit more negative. So I think for me, just being very intentional about it and mainly just treating it as only a part of my life, not my entire life. Trying to be more intentional with being with my community outside of work was also really helpful.
Bro, man, I'm so proud of you this time around. Like this, now that you've been through the rodeo more than a few times, we got to work on something I'm very pumped up about for Q4 is really working on like doubling down on the amount of not curriculum, but the amount of like call time that coaching calls on actually helping people exit. So instead of like just creating the curriculum of like how product managers can build a brand and get leverage and create a moat around themselves, is how we can create that engagement where we can be promoting brands um, and making sure that you guys are going to be I don't want people to be okay. I want people to be freaking thriving and on the right side of the money printing machine for the AI gold rush. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
I mean
to
that
it.
sounds great to me. As someone who was unfortunately on the negative side of a lot of recent layoffs, not just with my last job, but also my previous job before that one. I've noticed that it's just not feasible anymore to be a product manager full time. And a lot of the times it's outside of your control when you get laid off. Like it's a business decision and it really sucks because ultimately it's your job, it's your livelihood, and you're just another number in a big corporation cog. So I 100% think that that's the path forward, and we'll definitely start investing more into that as, now that I have a job, I could start focusing in on other things, and we'll
Hun-
definitely be part of that. I think for any aspiring product manager or product manager already on the job, reaching out to Rich and making sure that they are on top of trying to be a little bit more self-sufficient is really helpful and is the way to go, especially with AI and how it's changing things.
1000%. I'll end it on this. The like all of those, you know, all of the, you know. the president recently just hosted a dinner at the White House for all those tech CEOs, and I was just taking a look around the room of he asked them all how much they were investing. I was like, every single CEO on that dinner table had done massive layoffs. Shares are at record highs, profit is at record highs, and
Yeah.
yet they're still freaking chopping people. They're just like it's like beyond unnecessary right now.
Yeah.
Just pure greed, right? So if they're going to be putting themselves in number one, which I guess they did this entire time to even get up into that dinner, every product manager right now really has to do. So we're going to be creating an extreme level of engagement to be helping people make this. Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm going to let you get on with your night. I'm going to see you very soon in New York, buddy.
Sounds great.